What if the quietest person in the room is actually the wealthiest? It's kind of funny. We're all trained to spot the signs of spending, right? But today we're going to uncover the almost invisible signals of true wealth, and more importantly, how you can start building it for yourself. So first things first, we've got to reset how we even think about wealth. On one hand, you've got the wealth we all see, right? The designer bags, the luxury cars, the fancy vacations. That's all about spending money to show people you have money. But then there's the wealth we don't see. And honestly, this is the stuff that really matters. We're talking about index funds, zero debt, and the freedom to control your own time. It's about your money working for you, quietly building in the background.
And this is exactly why that's true. Real wealth, it doesn't need an audience. It's the kind of financial security that lets someone just exist without needing to prove anything. And what's cool is, once you learn what to look for, you'll start spotting these invisible millionaires everywhere. Seriously, at the coffee shop, the grocery store, maybe even at your next family get-together.
All right, so let's really break this down. We're going to walk through 6 signs that someone is secretly wealthy, and we'll tackle them in 2 parts. First, we're going to dig into the psychology, the mindset behind it all. And then we'll get into the nitty-gritty habits that bring that mindset to life.
And it really does all start in your head. The first couple of signs we're going to talk about have nothing to do with what someone owns. Nope, it's all about how they think and feel about the idea of money itself.
Okay, so here's the first big one. Think about it. For a lot of people, when money comes up in conversation, topics like salaries or investments, the whole room gets kind of awkward, right? People get defensive, maybe a little competitive. But for the secretly wealthy, it's different. They're weirdly calm. For them, money is just a tool. It's just information. They don't have all that emotional baggage tied to it. And their calm isn't just a personality thing. It's a direct result of coming from a place of security, not a place of scarcity.
And you can actually build that same sense of calm for yourself. So first up, try using more neutral language. Instead of saying something is expensive, just state the actual number. Second, make checking in on your finances a regular, almost boring routine. The more familiar you are with it, the less scary it becomes. And finally, you got to start talking about it on purpose. Have some low-stakes chats about money just to get more comfortable with the whole topic.
All right, this next one is a legit superpower. They are noticeably unhurried, especially with big financial decisions. They don't get sucked into the hype. They don't chase the latest hot stock because of FOMO. They're completely comfortable just hitting the pause button, asking more questions, and waiting for the dust to settle. They just know, deep down, that rushed decisions made out of panic or excitement, well, they almost never end well.
And this quote really gets to the heart of why being unhurried is so incredibly powerful. Look, chasing every good opportunity is exhausting, and it's super risky. The real game, it's about avoiding the bad decisions. It's about consistency and just letting the magic of compounding do its thing without you getting in the way. Urgency, it turns out, is the enemy of building real wealth.
Okay, so we've talked about the psychology. Now let's shift gears and look at the actual habits. How does that mindset show up in the real world, day after day?
Now, this one is so interesting because it totally flips the script on what we think of as smart spending. They spend money on the most, boring stuff you can imagine. We're not talking about the latest phone or new TV. We're talking about a great accountant, the right kind of insurance, or software that automates tedious tasks. This boring spending is like the foundation of their financial house. It's not sexy, but it's what keeps everything standing during a storm. And maybe most important of all, it frees up their brain power to focus on much bigger things.
Okay, this next one. This might be the single biggest secret to building wealth, period. At some point in their journey, their income went up. They got a raise, landed a huge client, whatever. And instead of immediately upgrading their car or their house, they just didn't. They kept their lifestyle pretty much the same. And this isn't about being cheap, not at all. It's about making a very conscious, very intentional choice.
And the trap they're avoiding is something called lifestyle inflation. It is so sneaky because it feels good. It feels like you're making progress. Hey, I'm earning more, so I deserve a nicer car. But what it really does is lock you into a higher and higher cost of living. And that gap, the space between what you earn and what you spend, that's where wealth is actually built. And if you inflate your lifestyle, that gap never gets a chance to get any bigger.
This pipe analogy is the perfect way to picture this. Think of your income as the water pressure and your lifestyle as the width of the pipe. For most people, when the income pressure goes up, they just make the pipe wider. So yeah, more is flowing through, but nothing ever builds up. The secretly wealthy? They keep the pipe the same width. So when that income pressure increases, what happens? The reserves start to build up. That surplus,
That's wealth. All right, so when it comes to actually spending money, the first question that pops into their head isn't the one that most of us ask. They don't ask, how much does this cost?
No, they ask, is this worth my time? You see, they've figured out that their most valuable, most limited resource isn't money, it's time. They get that saving a few bucks at the cost of several hours is a terrible trade. They're always thinking, can I use money to buy back my time? Because that is where the real freedom lies.
And that leads us perfectly to the final sign, which honestly is the one that holds all the others together. They just don't need you to know they're wealthy. Plain and simple. Their identity, their sense of who they are, isn't wrapped up in their net worth, so they have zero desire to use their money as a status symbol. If you happen to find out they're doing well, trust me, it was probably an accident.
I love this quote from Morgan Housel because it just nails this entire idea. Wealth is what you don't see. It's not about the things you buy. It's the financial power you have precisely because of the things you chose not to buy. It's the freedom, the options, the peace of mind that you get from resisting that pressure to show off.
So, when you put all of these pieces together, you start to see something really important. This isn't just a list of random habits. It's a whole different game. It has a different rule book and a completely different way to score points.
And this really brings it all home. At the end of the day, it comes down to a choice between two games. On one side, you have the status game. That game is all about optimizing for what other people see. It's about competing with everyone around you, and you win by spending money to signal how well you're doing. But then, there's the wealth game. That one's internal. It's about what's actually in your accounts. The only person you're competing with is who you were yesterday. And you spend your money not to signal, but to buy your own freedom. And you know what the best part of all this is? You don't need to have a ton of money to start playing the wealth game. Not at all. Every single thing we've talked about today, it's a mindset shift. It's a habit. And it's something you can start doing right now, today, no matter what your income is. So really, it all boils down to this one question. Every single day, with every choice you make about your money, you're deciding which game to play. So I'll leave you with this. Take a second, be honest with yourself. Which game are you playing?